Time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your hosts, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
There we go. What is going on, everybody? Covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. It's the return of your man, Lee Sanders. You're checking out episode number 1066. I love doing spontaneous episodes. If you notice, we've been on a holiday break, and I know there was some wild crap that had went down on Christmas Day. We'll definitely dive into that. But I had decided originally there was supposed to be a Monday show, but I wasn't sure how WWE Raw was going to operate because under the whole new management with TKO, I wasn't sure if Raw was going to be a best of or if they were going to we'll just do a whole new episode. It'll just be taped because we taped it last week or the week before, some weird jazz like that. And something just said, I don't know about this. I kind of am trusting my gut instincts. It feels like it's going to be a best of. Let me skip Monday. Sure enough, it was a best of. Saw the ratings for that best of as well. What was that, y'all? 660-something thousand viewers had tuned in to check out that best of Raw. I mean, hey, it's pretty obvious that a lot of the wrestling fans had other things to do on, of all days, Christmas Day. Totally understandable, right? So, no, I took that off. Wanted to extend the vacation a little bit because we were supposed to be on Wednesday. I said, nah, I don't feel like doing anything. Honestly, I was in chillax mode. So this is one of two shows for this final week of 2024 that we're doing for you guys. I'm going to actually be back this weekend to cover AEW Worlds End Fallout for you guys. And that'll be our final show for, I said 2024. That'll be our final show for 2023 as we get ready to bring in the new calendar year of 2024. I hope you all have been well since last I was on the air. I hope you all had for those of you that celebrated, that is, I hope you had a fantastic Christmas. And for those of you that unfortunately had to work, hey, I feel you. I freaking feel you. I definitely appreciate you. Let me tell you, I definitely appreciate you. My Christmas was pretty good. Saw a few friends. Hung out with family, and then, me and the missus went on home afterwards, and we did our own gift exchanging and all that good stuff. I shared just a couple of pictures online, but if you're a wrestling fan, you'll definitely appreciate this. For Christmas, I had got a LA Knight hat and a LA Knight shirt that says yeah on it, so it's a matching hat and shirt, black, yellow, was red colors. It's really badass how it looks. And I remember when I looked at the shirt, I'm going, oh yes, I would definitely push this for sure. I can see myself walking down the street wearing the hell out of this shirt big time. I also had got a Eddie Guerrero vintage shirt. That was pretty badass. It was the trademark black and white Eddie Guerrero shirt. Y'all know exactly the shirt I'm talking about. That was badass. Also had got something else was in there that I'm forgetting. I feel like there was another shirt that was in there, but it'll come to me when trust me, I'll figure it out. But what was really, really cool I actually had got, and I have such great memories, fond memories of the freaking moment to the point I still own it on VHS. And that is when Triple H made his return at Madison Square Garden. Funny we're talking about the Garden because CM Punk just made his official in-ring return at Madison Square Garden over the weekend. But Triple H making his Madison Square Garden WWE return back in 2002 off of his first quad injury. Remember, the guy was out for like an entire year. And if you remember it in real time and everything, Triple H came out. He was wearing jeans, black boots. He had on that denim leather jacket going on and everything. And I always thought that jacket was badass. Badass. My best friends, they will freaking tell you. I always thought that cool moment right there and the whole jacket, just everything was just magnifique. And, well, I guess wifey had been listening for the past couple of years, especially this year, because she got me that Triple H jacket. I'm going, oh, and it was so funny. I'm thinking, okay, I'm good. That is it as far as the grand finale for Christmas presents for me and everything. Wifey gets me good. She goes, oh, there's one last present. I forgot, but it's actually for the girls. I said, oh, you actually got something for the girls? Our three dogs. She's like, yeah, I got something for the girls. They're really, really going to like it. Well, we're going to like it too, but it's mainly for the girls. I'm like, oh, okay, where is it? It's behind the tree there. Really? I'm like, yeah, be careful. It's a little heavy. Oh, okay, all right, cool. So I bring it out. Sure enough, it was heavy. And I'm saying to her, what the hell did you get here? What did you do? Did you get like some type of a doll house or something for the girls? You got some gates or something? And she's just, ha, 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 ha. You know, and I'm like, So I'm continuing to just go away at unraveling the mystery behind this big old box and everything. And it turns out it was an Xbox Series X. I was like, yes, let's go. Let's go. Like, yes. I was screaming my lungs off. Because that was something I was going back and forth. Originally, I wanted a PlayStation 5. I know PlayStation 5 has a lot of exclusive games and everything. I wanted to go with the PlayStation 5. But then I just said, man, I have just been so out of the loop for so long on PlayStation. And because the last time I played PlayStation on a regular basis, it was PlayStation 3. So I've missed the boat on 4 and 5 right now and everything. And I've just had this long relationship with Xbox. It goes all the way back to when I had owned the very first Xbox system that came out. And it's just my personal preference, right? No hate, no. Like, if you are a PC or a PlayStation or an Xbox, like, I don't care what you are, as long as you're getting your entertainment on, right? That's the important thing. As long as you're getting your entertainment on, that's all that really matters. So, I think I have flipped, like, last minute, and I just said, nah, you know what? I would have to just relearn everything with the PlayStation. Like, I've already got this built-in rapport with the Xbox. Like, I already know my way around the controls, all that, right? It's not a drastic change as far as learning curve goes and everything. I'd rather go with the Xbox. So, wifey heard me. And the fact that she knew which system to get, because heaven forbid she would have gotten the Series S, as in Sam. Oh, that just would have been... Would I have been slightly disappointed? I would have been a little bit disappointed, but I wouldn't have told her about it because, after all, it's the thought that counts, right? And it was so funny. Like, I had shared this on social media, just 2 images of what I had got, and somebody had said to me, rather than, hey, that's cool, man, great. Like, it felt like they were rubbing salt on the wound, or at least they were trying to. And they said, oh, hey, that's cool. Well, my gift is I'm going to WrestleMania, and it's like, well, good for you. Hope you have fun and everything. But if I had to take a moment and think about all the nice things my wife has done for me in 2023, shall I start with my new tattoo? Which, by the way, it's going good. I am starting to have have dead skin just coming up like a mofo. I feel like a lizard, but I'm staying hydrated and all that. But that's going good. New tattoo. We got a new addition to the family in the form of a new dog. Okay. All the stuff that she had purchased for me for Christmas. Not to mention some other stuff that we don't need to go over here on the show. I mean, she's been like Michael Jordan in the fourth quarter for 2023 for me, right? And it's like, if I had to just, all of that or trip to WrestleMania. Yeah, sure, I'll have the memory of, right? But I'm not going to really have anything to show for. You feel where I'm coming from? And to that person that is going to be going to WrestleMania, if you have not done it already, make sure that you go out of your way. You spend that $3, $4, $5, $10 for that thank you card from Hallmark, and you let those people know that is hooking you up with that WrestleMania trip. You make sure you let them know how much you appreciate that gesture, because whether they coughed up 500, 1,000, I mean, we know WrestleMania tickets, it can be pretty freaking expensive the better the seats, right? So you make sure that you hook those people up that hooked you up. Make sure you let them know you appreciate that gesture, because they did not have to do that for you. They did not have to do that for you. So, yeah, relatively a very nice, good Christmas. I can't complain. Now we're getting ready to go into the New Year's. I'm pretty excited for that. Got some new stuff in the background. I don't know if you guys that are usually checking out the streams, if you can spot what might be new. We'll let that be a mystery for you all in the background. I'm not going to confirm or deny it, so you'll just have to kind of quietly guess to yourself and everything, and take it from there. Yeah, Christmas Day, however. And look, this is not our traditional, because we're coming on Thursday. Normally, when we come on Monday or Wednesday, we come on after Raw or AEW goes off the air. So this go round, like, we're not on after a wrestling show has done its thing, although technically you could say Impact Wrestling went off, but we haven't talked about Impact in a good minute, keeping tabs on what's going on and everything, but I do look forward to talking about them in the coming year. But we're still going to be talking a lot of wrestling stuff here, some non-wrestling related stuff. So this is a lot more of a loose show that we're doing here for you guys. So hopefully y'all appreciate it. Yeah, but I'm kicking back on, Christmas morning. I had a hard time sleeping. It's a good segue, by the way. It's a good segue. I had a hard time sleeping. So I'm kicking back Christmas morning. This is probably like about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm going, okay, well, you know what? I'll just go ahead and I'll binge on a couple of episodes of Law and Order Criminal Intent. Sure, I've seen every single episode, but what the hell? It's been some years. I probably don't remember certain episodes like I used to. Let me go ahead, binge on a couple of episodes. So I'm doing that for a couple of hours, and I'm doing that. I'm playing my little video game on my phone or tablet, and the next thing I know, I'm browsing on social media, just seeing what's what, and then I see the crap that Chris Jericho had posted, and I'm just going, Jesus Christ, Chris, my man, what are you doing? Are you drink tweeting on Christmas morning? Like, what's going on with you, my dude? And I'm just looking at this, I'm going, yeah, no way, no how. I am not going to be hopping on no damn YouTube. And I can just imagine the amount of people that had hopped on YouTube or Facebook or whatever around that time of the morning, or first thing around 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and decided to do a breaking news type of. I wasn't having it. Not on Christmas. Any other day, I might entertain it. Damn sure not at no 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. But any other time and I'm free, I'd entertain it. But Christmas morning? Like, people are not even up yet to open up their gifts, do the whole exchanges, go have breakfast. That hasn't even gone down yet. And I just couldn't help but go, Oh, Chris, what are you starting here? And something just said, get off social media. When you come back in the morning, later in the morning, this will develop even more. So, in case you've been under a rock this week, Chris Jericho decided to take some verbal shots at Stephen P. New. Basically, Stephen P. New, for those of you that don't know, he is the lawyer for CM Punk. And shortly after everything had went down with the infamous All-In Brawl, as we all know from several months back, CM Punk finding himself out of AEW, and somehow he was able to bump into Stephen P. New and get him to represent him and everything. And Stephen P. New, that's a name that many of us wrestling fans have heard. For those of us that have taken a moment to listen to a Jim Cornette clip on YouTube, I'm definitely guilty of that, proud of that. I mean, my God, I'm checking out multiple clips from Cornette many times a week. I see that there's some of my friends and colleagues in the podcasting world that go, I never listened to Jim Cornette, and I just look at them kind of cockeyed going, really? I'm having a hard time believing that. Is that what you truly want us to believe? But on the low, you actually like checking out Jim Cornette, or really, you don't bother. And I'm trying to keep a straight face because my puppy is licking my toes right now, and it tickles. I tried to keep a straight face. How you doing? But yeah, so Stephen P. That is very distracting. I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, my youngest puppy, she is just licking away at my toes, and it's just thank you. I appreciate you. Done? You're done. Good. All right, now I can focus again. But no, Stephen P. New. So he's representing CM Punk and everything, and Stephen P. New has been making his rounds, doing interviews here and there. I know he did something recently with Rip Rogers. I wasn't even aware that Rip Rogers has a podcast. I almost felt the same way I did when I found out the magnificent Don Morocco has a podcast a couple of years back. I'm going, wait, what? Because I mess with Don Morocco. I like him a lot. He's cool. So the way that this starts off is Chris Jericho's website. What is it? Web is Jericho or whatever. They basically, whoever is posting stuff for that website, they basically did a couple of, hot tags, mentioned loosely some of the transcripts from the interview that Stephen P. New did on the Rip Rogers podcast. And there's a section in there where Stephen talked about, hey, as far as NDAs, he revealed that CM Punk, Ace Steel, the Bucks, everybody that was involved, in this brawl, everything that happened with Jungle Boy and Tony Khan, like all this, basically NDAs. And so, but specifically, what happened at the infamous Brawl? Like, everybody signed NDAs. That is intact forever. No one will be able to talk about it. Well, except for maybe Lucy. And you're going, oh, who the hell is Lucy? And apparently Lucy is, if I'm not mistaken, Ace Steel's wife. And at this time, her leg was in a cast. So she couldn't really, right? It's not like she's gonna, oh my God, chaos is erupting, whatever to do, let me throw a trash can, let me go stop this person now. It's not like she was gonna be able to do a whole bunch, not to mention she was babysitting Larry the dog, CM Punk's dog, and everything. So Steven, in this interview, reveals that Lucy did not sign an NDA. So maybe at some point in the future, maybe, just maybe, she'll reveal what all had happened, right? Maybe she'll tell the story, okay? So, it's almost as if Stephen P. is essentially saying to Rip Rogers and crew, hey, look, if you maybe want to try to get some really, really juicy stuff, I'm going to point you in this direction. Now, whether or not they had the common sense to hit up Stephen P. New after the interview and say, yeah, what's up? You think you could maybe put us in touch, see if maybe she'd be up for doing the interview, right? We don't know that right now. That's all in the dark. So the webmaster for Chris Jericho's website pretty much mentioning this whole thing because Jericho's website, they cover rock, they cover wrestling, and all this other stuff, right? They're trying to, and they've been doing that for years. I've had personal dealings with the people over at the Web is Jericho site / Chris Jericho site. I remember when I did the Jericho cruise a couple of years back, the Triple Whammy cruise to be more specific, and I recorded a special live edition of Talk is Jericho when he interviewed Medusa, Britt Baker, and the Phenom Jazz. And it was a great roundtable discussion of women's wrestling, the evolution of it and everything. And I remember shortly after the cruise was over, I didn't want to get into any type of legal trouble, so I recorded the video and audio. I recorded that episode that they did, for people that were on the cruise. And I had decided, oh, well, let me clean up the audio and, I'll make that be like an exclusive thing, maybe for our YouTube channel or whatever. No one has to pay and everything. So I actually reached out to Jericho's people and I introduced myself and explained who I was, what I'm about, and everything. And basically, hey, look, I'm not trying to step on any toes, not trying to get myself in any trouble or anything. Just want to make sure that with your blessing, I can go ahead, release the audio of this. And they came back rather promptly. It was about maybe, I would say at most a 5-hour turnaround. And they told me, hey, Lee, we appreciate you reaching out. No, please continue to sit on that because Jericho is actually going to release that as a future episode through his respective feeds. And it was, oh, okay, all right, cool, right? So that was the end of it. And I remember that thing did not come out for almost 3 months. Believe it or not, it did not come out for almost 3 months. And I just was kind of like, whatever, right? So Jericho quotes his own website, which has its own respected social media account, and he just goes, I didn't sign an NDA. And it's like, wait a minute here. And like, this has already been established that as far as Chris Jericho goes, it's already been established that Chris Jericho was pretty much like Ben Affleck as Batman in Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. When Superman, remember that scene when Superman and Wonder Woman were fighting Doomsday? Batman's pretty much just chilling, in the cut, high above on the roof or whatever, and he's just watching, right? Maybe once in the blue moon, pa-chew, pa-chew, shooting a little pellet gun or whatever, but he's got this real far vantage point, right? I mention all of this sarcastically and being funny and everything, but in all seriousness, it was established that Chris Jericho was not in the room when all of this was going on. Okay? It's been established that Chris Jericho was outside and right now, look, if it turns out that Chris Jericho did see everything that went down, but he was just chilling behind a curtain and peeking and seeing everything that was going on and everything, then okay, well, yeah, sure, whatever, right? But he wasn't in the room when everything was going on. This has been established, okay? Don't take my word for it. This has been established. So the fact that he's saying, hey, I was there, I was in the room, and it's like, Jericho, put the booze down, my dog. Like, seriously, man. Seriously, you're doing a lot of harm here. Stephen P. New eventually responded back to Jericho, quoted him, and said, hey, actually, this is part of your AEW handbook. Yeah, you actually do have a non-disclosure agreement. Hey, it's okay if you're not aware. We can help you find your way through it and everything. So Stephen P. knew, like, this isn't him taking a dig at Jericho and everything. He's just pretty much going, hey, obviously you're not aware. That's okay. Be more than happy to help you out with that. But no, in fact, all talents actually have one. So you would think that would maybe be the end of that, right? No, it just gets even worse. Like, you would think that at this point, any part of Jericho that has maybe gotten a little bit sober, maybe reality is finally starting to settle in, and it's you know how it is sometimes when you drink a little too much, smoke a little too much, you wake up the next day and you go, man, I can't believe that I did XYZ. What the hell was I thinking? Seriously, what the hell was I thinking? No, I know. I wasn't thinking at all. That's what was going on. And it's kind of one of those situations where either you're gonna, boy, that was awkward. What happened last night, huh, everybody? Or if you're that embarrassed, you're gonna just let it be. You're gonna keep it moving along and talk about any and everything else, right? And I want to make sure that I don't misquote Stephen P. New. He said it's in your employee handbook unless you have a special one. We can figure it out. That should have been the end of it. Jericho comes right back. Hey, Stephen P. New, I don't adhere to an employee handbook and have never had one in 4 years of working for AEW. I've also never signed an NDA in my life, ever. So stop trying to be a bully and making egotistical fantasy brags for your clients and start doing some research before you make blanket statements about your buddies. Because I saw everything that night, including how Lucy and her husband and best buddy acted and what really went down. And since I was in the room watching her and everybody else the whole time, I know exactly what really happened. It's already been established he was not in the room. I mean, maybe he might have been there in spirit. maybe he might have been there in spirit. I don't know. And considering you weren't there and I was, maybe you should shut your mark ass up, because what really went down was disgusting. And I just love how Stephen P. New pretty much had came right back on Chris Jericho. And it's like, what do you say after this, right? Seriously, what do you say after Stephen P. New pretty much checkmate Jericho? Where he basically said, I wanna make sure I pull this up, because this was just hilarious as hell. Oh, don't tell me he deleted the stuff. Hang on here. I know he didn't delete it. This was badass. Because he went and said something like Exhibit A or some crap like that. I laughed my ass off when I saw that post by Steven. I'm going, dude, your social media game, especially as a lawyer, is freaking on point. Like, when he responds, he makes it count for what it's worth. Hang on here. Yep, I see that one. Figure it out. See that one. Oh, that's weird. I don't see it now. Yeah, so I'll have to paraphrase. Sorry about that, guys. But no, he said something like, duly noted, Chris. Thanks for that. We'll make sure to include this in Exhibit A for evidence. All right, so you're going, right? And you are saying to yourself, yeah, most likely Stephen P. New is definitely going to be using this. Right? He's definitely going to be using this. It's like, Jericho, just shut up, man. The damage is done. And you get the game that Jericho was trying to play when it was all said and done. The game the man was trying to play. Stick up for Tony Khan. Stick up for AEW. And look, I can understand it. It doesn't mean that it's right. Let me make sure that I let that be perfectly crystal clear. Words coming out of my mouth right now doesn't mean that it's right. But you kind of understand Jericho trying to defend Tony Khan, trying to defend AEW, right? Hey, this is your home turf, right? You're collecting checks from this guy and everything. And, Tony Khan has had his name through the mud for the past couple of weeks now. AEW has been getting a left and a right, uppercut, these past couple of weeks and everything from a publicity standpoint. They're looking like a joke right now, right? And I can understand within reason, Jericho, but it's like, dude, you've already got the man's money. You've already got the man's money. You can easily just be kicking back on your recliner with your boots up, just counting the money and just, sucks to be you. And just continue to mind your own business, just counting your money. But Jericho wanted to put himself out there and everything. I touched upon this once before, and I'm really surprised that a lot of my friends and colleagues in the podcasting world have continued to sleep on this, which is the fact that Jericho has had it, I won't say a vendetta. It's not a vendetta. That's not it at all. But I think it's right to say, to pull a Michael Jordan, and I took that personally. Jericho has had his feelings hurt by CM Punk ever since CM Punk had left the WWE. I mentioned this once before, but because Jericho definitely had touched upon this a couple of times, and I just find it now so convenient that when it comes to revisionist history and everything, at least by Jericho, when he's bringing up certain things, he fails to mention this. But Jericho took it very personal when CM Punk had left the WWE. For the simple fact, Jericho tried very early on to cozy on up to CM Punk, butter up his biscuits in hopes that maybe Punk would give him that big break, blow up his Talk is Jericho podcast, right? Already at a certain level, but just really crush the hell, take it to even, right, and give him that first interview and everything. He knew that this was a moment waiting to happen. He knew this was a historic moment in wrestling history, and he wanted to be the first one to get in that interview with Punk. And maybe CM Punk had his, maybe his bull meter. Maybe it was on high alert and he knew what the game was that Jericho was trying to play, and he didn't want to have anything to do with it. And Punk pretty much had ghosted Jericho after that. And as we all know, the rest is history, as Punk ultimately granted that first interview with Colt Cabana, then at that point, his best friend. But Jericho took that very personal. I remember he talked about it a couple of times that, at first, it was kind of interesting because first, it was like he revealed his hand that, hey, he would have loved to have gotten the interview. But then it changes over time where Jericho starts saying, oh, well, I think maybe he got the impression that I was trying to buddy up to him and everything because I wanted to have him on my podcast, and that wasn't the case at all. But ever since that particular moment in time, I need for folks to understand they just haven't been on the same page. They just haven't. So I find that interesting because, of course, CM Punk making his WWE return at Madison Square Garden over the weekend. And the card itself, by the way, shout out to Vladimir, the WWE superfan. I hope he was able to go. I know that anybody that's watched his mini doc on Peacock, he's had some serious health issues within recent years and everything. But, you just see that that great moment, WWE returning to MSG, a lot of historic moments at Madison Square Garden, and the fact that CM Punk, before Royal Rumble and all that other stuff, he has his first in-ring match for WWE at MSG. And I saw a lot of the videos that were posted by you, the fans, online. And man, did you guys represent. Not just WWE fans, just wrestling fans, CM Punk fans in general. I mean, lines out the yin-yang right down to the point. They said that the event was sold out. Believe it or not, they said the event was sold out. This is for a non-televised event. And see, stuff like that, I wish that WWE would honestly do more exclusive. Hey, if you are signed up for Peacock, we're going to do these special random WWE live events. We don't need to hear commentary. We don't need to hear commentary. Just let the action in the ring speak for itself. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. I wish they would do a little bit more of that. That'd be a good question to ask Triple H and crew on the next conference call / press conference, if that's something that they'd be interested in doing once again and everything. But yeah, great moment. I like that the fans had, not just the fans, but I love that the people at MSG, they hooked CM Punk up with that special commemorative plaque. I thought that was really, really badass, what they gave him. Just a cool moment. Just all the way around. Cool freaking moment and everything, right? So, but that Jericho, I'm looking at all this stuff with Jericho, and I just couldn't help but say, damn, dude, like, of all the time. And remember the same time last year, Jericho gave us the gift of content, right? The gift of content. Whether you're a vlogger, a blogger, or, podcast or whatever. Last year, almost exactly a year to Christmas or whatever, he gave us content last year, and we're going, right, here it was, dead quiet. Oh, it's going to be a nice, slow, quiet week. Wrestling news, extremely slow, right? Nothing really, hey, all right, cool, no problem. And then Jericho just out of nowhere. Oh, yeah, we'll take it. It's free. We'll take it. We'll run with it. We'll talk about it. Hey, it's all good. I'm just looking at all of that stuff with Chris Jericho. And one of the first things that came into my mind, okay, you don't sign NDAs, you don't do, and I couldn't help but go, yeah, so Chris, do you have this same energy towards individuals that claim that, you be doing XYZ, right? We got certain wrestlers that will remain anonymous, but you can kind of figure out who's who. We got wrestlers that pretty much are running for the exit because this guy was damn right sexually harassing them and all that other good stuff, right? And then, I couldn't tell you because I'm not trying to get into trouble by Chris Jericho's people, but, those of you that are close friends of mine, and I know you all ain't going to tell nobody, but the stories that I have heard about Jericho, and I've been able to match them up with other folks that been around the business, got friends in the business, and it's like, you heard what, Lee? I'm like, of course, this is off the record conversation. It's like, and it's, okay, I'll see you, I'll match you, and I'll raise you, and it's, right? And Jericho wants to talk about he's never signed an NDA in his life, and it's just, okay, Chris, that same energy that you got going on for Tony Khan and AEW, I need that same energy when certain individuals hear this crap that's going on with you on social media. I need that same energy at play when these people finally open up their mouths and they speak their truth, right? That's all. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that because the stuff about Jericho, it would make your mouths freaking drop. It would make your mouths freaking drop, right? But you know, I'm not gonna be the one to spill the tea on that. Or in this case, I don't have tea. I've got liquid death. I'm gonna just not spill that, and I'm just gonna continue to look the other way. But I'll tell you guys this: you've been warned, plain and simple. You have been warned. This is another perfect example of, man, these people that are working in AEW that just think they can go on social media and they can just say any old damn thing. This is, what more proof do you need that there needs to be somebody in charge? Much like the way WWE has their system set up where, yo, oh, this person said, and they just hurry up and, right? I mean, their social media game, whoever is in charge of watching all the WWE superstars and everything, I mean, they do such a great job. That Tony Khan and crew for their social media accounts, that's the same thing that they need to implement for their superstars. If you are not promoting a upcoming AEW event, I mean, look, granted, yeah, is it your personal account? Okay, yeah, it is. It's like, but understand something. You are continuing to collect a salary from this respected wrestling promotion. Therefore, even if that is your own personal account that you've had for X amount of years, you still need to be mindful of the stuff that you're putting out there, and that in no shape or form it is a bad representation of the company that you work for. And that most importantly, right? Because you want nothing but good publicity. Good publicity always wins every single day of the week, okay? And when it's going sideways and all that other stuff, like, that is just such a PR nightmare, okay? But they gotta have somebody that is making sure that all of these AEW employees, management as well, everybody is on the same freaking page, okay? Now, some people can say, but Lee, Jericho basically kind of went through a loophole and he basically was reacting to a piece of wrestling news that was from his site, right? He shouldn't have done it in general. He should have just left the damn thing alone. Now, I brought up CM Punk, MSG, and all that other stuff earlier. I thought it was kind of funny that, what was it, CM Punk's Instagram post. I think he shared an image of his return in the ring and everything, and Chris Jericho had liked it. You know how Instagram goes. You can see when people like something because they'll heart it or whatever, and then you'll see, the comments, who said what and everything, and Jericho had said congrats and everything. So, you're looking at that, and, there's a lot of things that can be said that's true. I saw some people on social media say Chris Jericho knows how to play the game of social media well. He knows how to play it in such a way where, he can get himself over. He can get people, talking about him or whatever else, he's involved with. There's a lot of things that could be said that's true. But look, I do believe that in Chris Jericho's heart of hearts, I do believe there's a part of him that is happy that Chris Jericho, I do believe that there is a part of Chris Jericho that I won't say happy. I think the right words that I'm looking for right here is maybe not even content. You feel where I'm coming from? Maybe Chris Jericho is looking at CM Punk going back to WWE, and is honestly saying, you know what? Good for you. Good for you. Seriously, good for you. Okay? Because Jericho has been around the block and back. He has dealt with many different owners. I'm sure that for Jericho, when you get right down to the heart of the matter, right? Business wise, I would like to believe, and if anybody ever gets a chance to interview Chris Jericho, I would love it if they could just get him to go on the record and use the ammunition that is out there right now that Chris Jericho has provided, right? We're talking about the All-In Brawl, but I think context and clarity is very, very important. No matter what had went down at that Brawl, Punk did try, according to all sources, people very close to him, Punk did try to be the better man, apologize, pull all of that bad blood, that ill will to the side so that everybody could come together and make some good money. But for whatever respected reason, Bucks/Elite, they didn't want to have anything to do with that. And, right, the rest is history, right? But Punk kept trucking along. I'm curious on Chris Jericho's, now that some time has passed, and since he is like, hey, I didn't sign no NDA, I can talk about a whole bunch of things. Then, okay, what's your raw, unfiltered thoughts about what happened with Punk and whatever went down backstage with Jungle Boy and Tony Khan, and the fact that ultimately Punk got fired and now he's back in WWE? Like, what do you say to that? And just the fact that we've got that text by Jericho that, again, I don't think he's happy for Punk being back in WWE. I think he's just looking at the situation and is maybe saying, well, good for you. I mean, we saw what Mark Henry and a couple of other people in AEW had to say pretty much after Punk left. I know Mark Henry, okay, whatever was causing, I'm paraphrasing, but whatever was causing, right, now there's no excuses. Put your best foot forward and, right? So it's very interesting what's, all that's going on there. But to Den's point in the chat, WWE social media game just seems fake to me, honestly. It depends on what you're looking for specifically when it comes to, because look, I got to tell you something, and you're talking to somebody that has managed a few social media accounts for a few folks, for a few companies. I've had the fortunate pleasure of doing it for a couple of years, managing, different social media accounts. Hell, at one point, I even managed the social media account for my college. And look, it is all about, okay, what kind of posts can we create as far as engagement, as far as potentially getting new followers, right? And whether you like the content that WWE posts on social media or not, that's irrelevant. But to be able to actually take a step back and see that, okay, as far as what's being promoted, right? The best companies go on social media and they cover who, what, when, where, why, sometimes how, right? Those are the best freaking social media accounts, right? So if you want to say fake as far as, well, man, I just saw this post here and it looks like there's a similar account that's literally posting the same thing. Yeah, there is a social media campaign manager. Usually it's one, but there can be multiple people that have one goal, and that is to post XYZ. Post XYZ. That's it. Right? And sometimes you'll get some of the actual wrestlers or employees of that company that'll also put out XYZ. I remember a couple of days ago, I had ordered from Domino's. I had an opportunity to get, I had earned enough points where I was able to get a free emergency pizza. And I remember saying to my wife that night, I said, hey, what do you want for dinner? Do you feel like cooking? She hit me back. She goes, no. Okay, well, do you want to do pizza instead? She goes, yeah, but I don't really want to pay for it. And I told her, I said, well, look, it's okay. I have an emergency pizza from Domino's. And she goes, what's that? And I broke it down to her. She said, oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead, do that. I said, okay, all right, I'll do that then. And I'll put in the order and I'll pick it up. That way we don't have to pay for delivery. Like, I'm going to be driving past it anyway. She goes, okay, all right, cool. So, get the pizza and everything. And I put out a tweet. I basically took a picture of myself holding the Domino's emergency pizza. And I basically said, yo, the new Domino's reward program is freaking badass. I really love it. And yo, that free emergency pizza comes in a really, really, the timing of it, great freaking clutch, man. Shout out to Domino's, right? Domino's, about 15 minutes later, they liked it. They quoted me and, they basically was like, hey, that's what's up. Yeah, we, love that we were able to hook you up, right? So whoever is in charge of that social media page, right, they're looking at that type of stuff. They're looking at the engagements. They're looking at the likes. They're following up on stuff like that. Sometimes your favorite TV shows. I know that the guys over at Stars, the network, they are notorious for their engagements, likes, retweets, posts when it comes to all their TV shows, especially when we're talking about Power, whether Raising Kanan, Force, or Ghost, like they stay being on top of that stuff, right? I could be here almost all night giving a crash course on how to better up your game when it comes to social media, post and networking and all of that stuff. But whether WWE, you want to say it seems fake, or at least you can definitively say these guys have a system. And even if that system seems a little bit, it is a very fine system compared to how, hell, even the TNA, Impact Wrestling, you look at the WOW, Women of Wrestling people, you see how they operate their social media game. It's like AEW, the talent and crew, they could definitely take a page and go in a different direction. But this is just a continuation of just one long migraine / headache / black eye that just continues to happen for this freaking company. I know that the hardcore wrestling fans have been enjoying the AEW Continental Classic. I know that there's been some parts of me as a wrestling fan that's enjoyed some of the straight up in-ring action that we've been getting, right? And now we see that for the finals, it's going to be Jon Moxley taking on Eddie Kingston. I'm sure that's got a few people kind of going, yeah, man, no, it should have been Swerve, or no, it should have been Jay White, or versus, like, I can just picture so many people going, no, it should have been, but to hear that it's going to be Eddie Kingston, because I know certain people feel a certain way about Eddie Kingston, right? They hear all this stuff about, this guy that has this championship and this championship over here and this over here, and wait, he looks like that? How is this honestly believable? And trust me, I get it. I get where some of you guys are coming from. But I know of some fans, wrestling fans, that when they heard about this Continental Classic joint, they honestly said, yeah, you know what? I could care less about this. Holler at me when we're going back to storytelling. The hell with the tournament, right? And trust me, I totally get that, because it seemed like every 3 months that you turned around, AEW was doing some form of a freaking tournament. And now, Tony Khan and crew decided they wanted to put all their marbles into this Continental Classic, right? And within reason, you can appreciate what they were trying to do here, because everything basically was building up to this last pay-per-view for AEW in 2023, which is Worlds End, happening this Saturday. But that's only one match type that we're talking about. So much emphasis was put on that. And yeah, you could also say, well, what about what's been happening with whoever this devil person is? Yeah, how about that? How about whatever is going on with whoever this devil person is? What seemed to at first start off as great, do I even say great intrigue? I will say curiosity. What started off as curiosity, as far as who the devil was, has now become, can we just get this over with already, right? And if you've been listening to me long enough, I said to you guys many weeks back, let them ride this out until World's End, their last pay-per-view, and they should reveal who the devil is. That way, going into your new week of AEW programming, beginning with Dynamite, you're fresh off of that pay-per-view. The devil's been revealed, and boom, now you can, right? Because you're riding off of that buzz. You're riding off of that momentum, essentially. Okay? I tell you what, for Tony Khan and crew, and I know he was recently quoted in because he was doing a media scrum for World's End, and he's basically saying there's going to be a lot of surprises, big revelations at World's End. Maybe the devil will be revealed. We have to wait and see. I hope that he does do it, but at the same time, I hope that it's also a situation where it's not Jungle Boy, because I just feel that so many people would be greatly disappointed if it turns out to be Jungle Boy. Now, I've gone on record and I've said, yo, wouldn't it be a nice twist? And I know my boy Mish has appreciated this. Shout out to Mish. I said, what if it turns out it's Adam Cole? That would be a really good twist, that it's Adam Cole. They better do something. Anything has to be better than it's revealed it's Jungle Boy, because I think a lot of folks would honestly be greatly disappointed when it's all said and done, right? Would I be disappointed? I would, because I just feel as though, that's not must-see TV. You know what I'm saying? That's not okay. I need to tune in, and I need to see the fallout from this, right? It doesn't scream that. I like that nice little twist that they did at the end of Dynamite for Wednesday night, where you had the graphic that popped up. What was it? Thank you for your services, or whatever message it was that was on the Tron, and Samoa Joe had attacked MJF from behind. And you're going, oh man, Samoa Joe's been working with the Mags Devil and crew. What the hell? Right? Which then kind of creates the scenario of, is it possible that Joe just might be the devil? Right? Is he maybe the one that is behind this entourage, right? So I like that kind of buzz that we got going on as we get ready to go into the pay-per-view and everything, right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens with this. But I tell you what, I'm making a bold prediction right now. If they do not reveal who this Mags Devil is on this last pay-per-view for 2023, Tony Khan and crew are really, really going to be testing their fan base's patience. They really, really are. Now, look, If you've got it all figured out, as far as, because what's one of the main things that we keep getting on AEW for? We keep getting on them for, hey, stop with the 5-star or trying to strive for the 5-star quality matches, and at the same time focus more on better storytelling, better character development. And if Tony Khan and crew already, got something in mind, then that's great and everything. Seeing Sammy Guevara come back and he's mad or whatever, it's like, what are you mad about? It's like, seriously, dude, what are you mad about? It's like you went home. You couldn't play ball with the Cow's family because your kid was about to be born and everything. So, what? Why are you mad? Like, and then just to see the reformation of the Sex Gods with Jericho, and I get that Omega is out of commission right now, but and you see how that went over with the live crowd like a wet fart. I mean, that was barely a reaction right there. It really, really was. Convince me otherwise. You could try to tell me, no, it really went over big time. Like, no, it didn't. No, it didn't. Right? This is the type of flip-flopping that I'm talking about here. I think that spot for Jericho there, I think that spot would have been better filled by somebody else. Who? I'm thinking about it. Who would have been better in that spot? Who would have been better in that spot? Because Sammy G would have been fine either way, I personally feel. I'm trying to think who hasn't been on TV in a while. That's also a relatively solid name, so to speak, or whatnot. I don't know. I would have to come back to you guys on that one. There's not a name that I'm sure some of you guys could probably come up with another name, but the main point, it's just, it didn't go over. Then you're trying to have Nick Wayne's mom explain why she went heel and did what she did and basically siding with Christian Cage. And it just, we got to stop with the flip-flopping. Going into 2024, we got to do a better job. We got to stop with the flip-flopping there. I need for Tony Khan to not be so concerned about... Okay. I need for Tony Khan to not be so concerned about the trolls, about the bot accounts. Just ignore all that noise. Instead, pay attention to those that are legitimately offering some form of constructive criticism. Even in regards to what Disco Inferno had said, which we talked about last week. It was warranted. That did not deserve the type of hateful response that Tony Khan put out there towards Disco. And before anybody says, oh, well, Lee, maybe Tony Khan was just healing it up. And no, don't believe that whatsoever. No. We've seen too many instances where his social media game, when it's all said and done, it's just freaking bad on so many levels. It's just freaking bad. And it is what it is. So it looks like, speaking of AEW, for those of you that have been trying to keep tabs on what's been going on in ROH, it looks like there's going to be a women's TV championship tournament. We just talked about how it seems like less than every 3 months there's some type of a tournament going on, and now there's going to be, and this is for the new TV title. Remember, this is the title that they just introduced. And I remember myself and many others were going, is it really a TV title when it's behind a paywall and you have to go to a website to watch this show? You got to go to the website, pay them money so you can watch this show online. Right? So, but yeah, anyway, they're going to do a tournament. We don't know how the brackets are going to be going down, but some of the participants that's in it so far, that includes Billy Starks, Kiera Hogan, Rachel Ellering, Lady Frost, Layla Hirsch. We'll see how that plays itself out over the next couple of weeks. I would imagine that they're probably going to incorporate a match or two on Rampage and on, wouldn't be surprised if Rampage, maybe Collision. Maybe Collision, they'll do a little something. Hey, for you CM Punk fans, looks like Punk is going to be hooking up with the Roots of Fight. Looks like they're going to be a collaboration here, as they're going to be putting out some new CM Punk merchandise. Punk had announced the news Thursday night. Looks like this merchandise will be available beginning January 15th. Now, Roots of Life is a media, lifestyle, and apparel brand that creates high-end art, apparel, and experiences for legendary sports figures. So far, they've done collections for Andre the Giant, Macho Man Randy Savage, Rey Mysterio, Ric Flair, Roddy Piper. So Punk going into some very good companies. So mark your dates down for that. It's going to be on January the 15th. So check that out. Also, Tony Khan, of course, we know the WWE, Warner Brothers Discovery news. That's been kind of going a little bit back and forth and everything. And, you know, of course, this kind of leaves many wondering what's going on with AEW. Tony Khan has been on the defense and everything. One thing that we've definitely gone on record reminding you guys time and time again, no matter what is going on, AEW, Warner Brothers Discovery, their deal is intact until the end of 2024. Tony Khan took part in a media conference this week while promoting Worlds End, and he was asked about the company's media rights and current broadcast partnership with WBD, saying in part, in regards to the relationship with WBD, we have a great relationship with Warner Brothers Discovery. It's amazing now. We've been talking to them for several years, and this coming weekend marks the 5-year anniversary of the launch of AEW. We announced the formation on January 1st, 2019. And here we are, days away from the 5-year anniversary of that. Warner Brothers Discovery has been an indispensable partner throughout this journey. I'm very excited about the future of AEW and excited to work with Warner Brothers Discovery throughout 2024 and going forward after that. There is going to be a lot of exciting conversations about AEW media rights. It'll be a very exciting year, and a lot of things are going to happen. We have a great situation with Warner Brothers Discovery, and it's been a great year for that partnership. Now, more specifically, in regards to the future of AEW's media rights, he said, we're under an exclusive agreement. I can't say what the future of AEW will hold for certain, but I know there is a lot of interest in pro wrestling, and judging by the market, I've had lots of interest in Ring of Honor, which I'm holding and looking forward to having an extra card to play later in the coming year in such negotiations, knowing there is a ton of interest in ROH and that product from outside parties, and knowing there is far more interest in AEW, multiple times more, and far greater rights fees for AEW in the future. It bodes well in the market, knowing there will likely be a lot of suitors for AEW. We'll find out for sure as we get closer to the end of the year. I have to say, it's really great working at Warner Brothers Discovery. And if anyone came in, it would have to be a heck of an offer, because we have had a great thing going here, and it's a great place to be. I do value the relationship. Now, if you guys recall, I believe it was maybe the CW I believe it was them. But somebody had approached Tony Khan and them a couple of months back, if you all recall. I remember we had talked about it here on the show, and there was a lot of great interest there towards AEW, potentially ROH, but Tony Khan was not interested in negotiating because he wanted to see where everything was going to fall, if everything was going to fall in place for Warner Brothers Discovery first. So it's basically like, hey, I'm dancing with this girl right now, so let me finish my dance with her, and we'll talk. We'll see, okay? We'll see. Maybe we can dance next, right? But let me finish dancing with this girl over here first. Best analogy I can use for that. So, look, you hear the stuff with WWE, and you know how WWE tends to roll, right? Usually, whatever network they freaking land on, it's like, yo, we are the be all, end all when it comes to wrestling. It's us. It's just us. It's nobody else. It's just us, right? So much is in the air right now, right? That it creates great conversations. Honestly, it's a great topic of discussion in the podcasting world because this could play out so many ways. It really could. And I'm going to say this. You definitely want to make sure you tune in to Saturday's show because on top of reviewing the World's End pay-per-view, we'll also preview, if you will, predictions for 2024. I'll give you guys a little bit of a sampler, but we're mainly going to save the big bulk of predictions for 2024. We're going to save it for that Monday show and everything. So you guys will definitely appreciate that. But, this could go either way. It really depends on how far along the talks between WWE and Warner Brothers Discovery has gone. Now, look, I could see Warner Brothers Discovery continuing to have some type of a relationship with AEW. I could continue to see it being a case where, because remember, Max is now trying to get into live sports and everything. Those of you that are NBA fans, you know that your basketball, your pregame, your postgame shows, right? A lot of live stuff under Max now, right? So I would not be surprised if Warner Brothers Discovery looked at AEW and basically said, okay, look, we're going to have this relationship with WWE, but we're also going to still keep you guys. You guys will just be exclusive to... I could literally see it being a case where WWE could get, TNT on Monday nights. For Monday Night Raw, they can get TNT. AEW gets TBS, right? They keep on getting... I could see both of these companies existing. I could also see a scenario play out where AEW could go just directly to Max. Especially under like live programming and all that. I could see something like that go down. I could see new episodes of Ring of Honor premiering on certain days, right? You know how you stay up until 12 midnight or 3 o'clock in the morning so you can watch that new episode of fill in the blank, whatever your favorite TV show is. I could see a scenario play out where ROH could, but the fact that, I'm very curious, are really that many suitors interested in ROH? I'm kind of questioning that. I'm having a hard time believing in the validity of that statement. From how much was thrown out there to acquire ROH to now being in a position where it is behind this paywall and, right? And we're told that, oh, the subscriptions, oh, it's good. Oh, the turnout for fans checking out ROH, it's good. This is good. Everything's good. Good, 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 good. I kind of question. Can I say it? I just want to call bull. I just do. I just want to do. I just want to call bullshit on a couple of things. Seriously, I just do, man. Hey, shout out to Shawn Spears. Shawn Spears is wrapping things up with AEW. He is rolling out after 5 years. As of January 1st, 2024, he will be a free agent. It's really hard to believe that Shawn Spears has been with the company for 5 years. And when I hear that, I just go, wow, 5 years already. And seriously, what really has been done with Shawn Spears in the almost 5 years that he was with AEW? Not much, sadly. Not much. I loved it when Tully Blanchard was managing him briefly there. I thought that was an interesting look, and that really could have gone places. That really could have gone places. Remember when Shawn Spears had first popped up in AEW? I know myself, definitely many others were going, all right, good. We saw over in WWE what Shawn Spears was capable of. He was just at that cusp, perfect gimmick, the whole 10 thing. Like, man, okay, AEW, okay, now he's really going to just be firing on all cylinders now. He's definitely going to be going places now. And just little bursts here and there. I'm glad that a talent like him is going to be out there on the free agency market. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen for him in this next chapter. And before anybody asks, oh, is it possible that he could go back to WWE Lee? I mean, yeah, anything at this point is honestly possible. Sometimes it's interesting because you look at some folks and you go, you know what? They're not quite. They need to go outside of this universe. They need to go outside of this circle and try to maybe get a little bit more seasoned experience. And Shawn Spears has done that and then some, I personally feel. So I don't know if Triple H, Paul Levesque, and others have been keeping tabs on what's been going on with him. Would he benefit greatly with a WWE return? I think he would. I think he would move the needle quite a bit in the company and everything. Shawn Spears is someone that rarely gets injured, right? He's pretty healthy for the most part. So, and then as far as age goes, he's only 42. So, this could be a case, though, where it really just depends. By the way, didn't he just become a dad? If I'm not mistaken, Casey Lee just gave birth recently. So congrats to them. Casey Lee, for those of you that aren't able to put two and two together, you know her better under the ring name Peyton Royce, the Iconics, right? And I know Peyton Royce for a good little minute there was doing stuff with Impact Wrestling. So, I could definitely see something going on there where, who knows, maybe they return to Impact. Obviously you got to weigh in the options, but they definitely got options. That's the whole point that I'm trying to make right now. I just hope that at this point, Shawn Spears just enjoys the rest of the holidays, spend that nice quality time with the kid and the missus, and, from there, just, they got options. Don't need to rush. That's my whole point. Don't need to rush. When you got options, right? When you have options in life, you take your time. You take your time. That's just how it is, right? Right down to the point where if you're thinking about leaving one job and you're trying to go for another, you're taking your time. You don't want to just find another job and then, right? You want to take your time. You want to make sure it's the right fit. You want to make sure that all the boxes are checked off and all of that. When you got options, you take your time. Some sad news to report to you guys, as WWE will be releasing their final DVD this week. As many of you guys probably know, earlier in the month, the news had came out that WWE was no longer going to be dedicating the necessary time and resources to their home video division due to what they described as a declining market, right? And some of you guys hear that, but then you'll go, well, wait a minute. Oppenheimer had finally hit DVD, and yet all the stores were sold out, Lee. What the hell? And that's just a perfect case of certain limited amount of DVDs were ordered by the stores in question, and that was it. And as a result, now you got to go on Amazon. I'll tell you this, and you'll get a kick out of this. So before All in the Family creator, producer, and writer Norman Lear passed away, you know, we gave a very nice touching tribute to him a couple of weeks back here on the show. Before he passed, I remember as part of my Christmas list, I said to the wife, hey, man, if you can pick up the entire series of All in the Family on DVD, that would do me wonders, because, you know, I can't watch it on Amazon Prime. It's available, I think, with, what was it, freeware, something. If you got Prime Video, you know what I'm talking about. Like, All in the Family, it's not on Prime Video, but you can watch it with ads through freeware or something like that. It's kind of like Tubi, basically, and it's not quite the same. I'd rather experience it raw, uncut, uncensored on DVD, and I can just do the damn thing, right? And at that point in time, I remember seeing the complete All in the Family DVD series for $25. $25. Now, obviously, with Norman Lear passing away, right? And I remember I told the wife shortly after Norman Lear passed, I said, hey, I hope that you put All in the Family on your list. I hope you got it already, because now that Norman Lear's died, I got a bad feeling the prices are going to skyrocket. And her response to me at that time was, well, if I did get it, I'm not going to tell you. And it's like, okay. So then Christmas comes, you know, I go through everything, and I say to her, hey, what happened to All in the Family? How come you didn't get All in the Family? And she goes, oh, the price was too high. I was like, but I told you about this before he even died. Yeah, you're right. That was it. She had no comeback. It was, you're right. So it went from 25. Last I saw, somewhere between, now, the new price, now, $75 to $125 for the DVD set. Okay? So when you think about the current climate of DVDs, favorite TV shows, movies, you know, those physical copies, owning that physical copy on DVD, you know, sadly, a lot of time, a lot of resources is spent on putting those physical copies together, you know, having those physical materials be made available to you for purchase and everything, you know. And we've gotten to a point right now, there's a reason why most of the laptops that's out there today does not have a DVD drive. And it's the current trend of our technology. Well, everything is made available digitally that, eh, if somebody needs a physical copy of something, well, they're just going to have to go out of their way and they're just going to have to, put their own little resources together and, figure it out themselves. Like recently, and I'll gladly show this to you because I have it sitting right here. I know for one of my television and radio courses, I I was doing a lot of audio production, right? So one of the things that we were able to do a couple of times during the semester would be to go into a live recording studio, a live radio station, recording studio, all of that. And, we'd have our commercials queued up. We'd have our jingles. We'd have our sports buffer breaks, weather time, traffic. We'd have all that stuff, right? And I remember, when we were doing all of this, it was a question about, okay, what type of music can we play? And it was, you can play any music that's available on the CDs here in the studios, or if you want to burn your own music, you can do that. It's like, oh, okay, great. So I'm kicking back at home. I'm putting my playlist together. And it's, okay, now how am I going to be able to play this music? I can't load it all up on a USB flash drive and just load it up. No, I got to show that I can switch between CD1, CD2, DAW1, DAW2, right? So I ended up burning a couple of CDs. Now, here was the problem. My laptop that I've been pushing for, I think, about almost 5 years now, my Alienware 17, it does not have a DVD drive, a CD drive. So it's like, oh, so if I want to play a CD or if I want to play a DVD, I can't do any of that because I don't have a drive. So I actually had to go on Amazon. And for you guys that's going to be listening to the audio version of this, you can get a look at what I'm showing right now at the 1 hour, 31 minute, 25 second mark. This is a external drive that I had to purchase. And I paid about $35 for this. And man, this thing, such a freaking lifesaver. Such a freaking lifesaver. You're able to just plug it up at the USB end. You're able to just plug it in to your computer. It automatically installs the necessary software, automatically recognizes it, so you don't have to do anything else. And then you just open the eject button, put your DVD or your CD, and there you go. You can just go to town afterwards, right? And I love that. I love that. I mention all that because, going back to WWE and everything, I get it. Trust me, I get it. The days of going to your local Best Buy, Tower Records, FYE, for that wrestling fix, those days are freaking over. I hate that. It's sad, but it's freaking true. I remember there was a time when it used to come to wrestling DVDs. I used to love New Release Tuesdays. I don't know about you guys, but New Release Day on Tuesdays was my favorite day of the week as a teenager growing up because I knew that there was going to be something new on DVD by WWE that I was going to mess with. And back then they would have at times 3, 4, 5 different things. So there was always a nice little variety that would be coming out and everything. And I remember at times, especially when I was in high school, I remember there would be times where I would spend my lunch break or lunch period. I'd go to my nearest FYE, and at this point, I had to go to the FYE store that was in the heart of Georgetown, Northwest DC. Shout out to my DC residents out there. You know the mall I'm talking about, the shops at Georgetown. I would go inside and I would go to the FYE. I'd go right to the wrestling section for New Release Tuesday, pick up whatever I needed to pick up and everything. And, those were some great, great freaking times. I remember there used to be a lot of instances where you would have WWE wrestlers that would do autograph signings and all kinds of cool meet and greets, whether it would be at a FYE, a lot of times Best Buy, once in a blue moon, a Tower Records, but that was very, very seldom. But those wrestling DVDs back in the day, man, I mean, a lot of good times, It was so easy to break bread and make a new acquaintance or friend way back then, because you could just be in the wrestling section and you're going through whatever, and someone could be eyeballing what you're looking at, and they could say, oh yeah, I got that one. That one was pretty good. The match with da 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 da, and you're like, yeah, I remember that. That was, or what about the, and you would just go back and forth, 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 and then finally it'd be like, I'm Lee. Hey, I'm Steve. Hey, nice to meet you, man. Like, you come here a lot? Yeah. And the next thing you know, you made a new friend. You made a new friend that just happened to like wrestling and stuff, man. It was cool back in the day. It was really freaking cool. This day and age now, everything is so, instant gratification. Give it to me now, right? And it's digital. Everything's digital at the same time, right? Gone is that human connection, that human touch. It's sad. It really is sad. I remember when I was setting up the Xbox in the bedroom, I was going over like what all the thing can do and everything. And I remember saying to the wifey, hey, this is cool because not only can the Xbox Series X play, audio CDs, but it can also play standard DVDs. It can also play 4K DVDs. It can also play, UHD DVDs, and it can play this and it can play that. And she's like, wow, that's really freaking good. I said, yeah. He's like, because, my God, our house, I don't know about y'all's house, but our house over here, between the two of us, we've got so many damn DVDs that we should, like, open up a store, right? It's like we've got our own little mini Blockbuster over here. We got so many things on DVD that's honestly been sitting and collecting dust because a lot of the technology that we have in here, it's like it's not compatible, or there's no DVD drive that's built into the thing and everything, right? So, but yeah, back in the day, I remember when WWE home video was at its peak. Man, I can remember how every single New Release Tuesday, I would take about $50, $60 tops. And I would buy a couple of new CDs, whatever the new music was, right? Whatever I was itching for, I'd pick a couple of new CDs, and then rest of the money, I'd blow on some DVDs. I'd get whatever that new release WWE joint was, and then I would also treat myself to some independent stuff as well. Everybody knows that was shopping back in the day. There was always the independent little wrestling section that was mixed in there with the WWE stuff. And there'd be some nice gems in there, man. I mean, whether you're coming across, the greatest hits from Jeff Jarrett and the old territory days or whatever, or women's extreme wrestling, or some real fun stuff back then, man. And it's so sad when you go into some of these stores today and you see over the course of the years how much smaller and smaller and smaller the wrestling categories get, that now it's almost non-existent. It's almost non-existent. What a fitting way for WWE to end their home video series too. They ended with Survivor Series, which marks CM Punk returning to the company, right, in almost 10 years. Will I be getting that DVD? Yeah, I'll definitely be getting that DVD. And then also, let's not also forget what also used to be the most hardcore favorite time for wrestling fans slash WWE fans back in the day as well. Before the home video and all that is pretty much coming to an end, is the fact that every WrestleMania, my friends stayed doing that crap, man. I'm telling you, when it came to every single WrestleMania, they always, myself included, like consecutive WrestleManias that would be bought on DVD. Now, my friends took it a step further, and every single time there was a new re-released WrestleMania box set that would include that previous year's WrestleMania, my friends always forked up the money and when I say my friends were on top of the wrestling DVDs, like everything that came out from WWE, they were on top of that, and that included the WrestleMania box sets and everything, and you're always trying to update that, right? Always trying to stay on top of that and everything, and now everything is essentially going to be. It's sad. It's really, really sad. The signs were there that this was coming, right? And I don't like it. I wish it could be a case where, hey, if you want to purchase XYZ, I wish it could be a case where maybe it's, I don't want to say made to order, right? But it would be nice if it could be a case where, hey, if you want to own this, right? Now, what is that wrestling fan supposed to do? Well, digitally, it'll always be available, right? That it's not the same thing, right? I know. You can access it on your phone. You can access it on a tablet. You can access it on a computer. You can access it on your TV, right? On the go, on the toilet, what, right? It's still not the same. It doesn't beat physically owning that piece of content. Nothing beats physically having that content, you know, at, being able to hold it, and nothing beats that. Nothing freaking beats that. And then the stories that come with it as well. Nothing beats that. Freaking sucks, man. Times are a changing. I don't like it. That's not the old man Lee talking. It's just I don't like it in general. I just don't like it in general. Let's see some other stuff we can get into here. What's this about Goldberg being pissed at Vince McMahon for not giving him a retirement match? Did you guys hear about this crap? So in an interview with, I want to give these guys credit, Steven and Captain Evil, Bill Goldberg, 55-year-old Bill Goldberg, took a shot at Vince McMahon, claiming that Vince McMahon agreed to give him a retirement match, but then went back on his word. Goldberg noted that he agreed to put over Roman Reigns on the condition of the retirement match, but never got it. Now, I don't know about you guys, and for those of you that need a little bit of a refresher, that match with Roman Reigns, that was at Elimination Chamber, which was Bill Goldberg's last match with WWE to date. So remember, this went down at the Superdome in Saudi Arabia, February of 2022. Remember that. If you remember anything, remember that. So I couldn't help but wonder, the guys that's interviewing Goldberg, are they gonna follow up and not to embarrass Bill Goldberg, or kind of make him come off like he's didn't do his research or anything, but are they gonna go in that area where they say, well, Mr. Goldberg or Bill, or hey, not for nothing, but considering all the stuff that was going on with Vince McMahon, can you kind of understand why your retirement match did not materialize? Can you understand? Like, okay, he gave you his word, but can you understand, right? Because, right, Bill Goldberg, oh, Vince McMahon is he's a piece of shit, right? That's what that's the main hook that everybody, right? And I'm just going, really, dog? Really? When you were hooking up with WWE, you was getting millions of dollars for doing so very little for a couple of years. The numbers seem to be fluctuating. I can't get a firm, I got to do a little bit more research, but I can't get a firm number on how much money Bill Goldberg was getting during his stints with WWE, the second rodeo. I mean, but we're talking anywhere from $2 to possibly $6 million this man was getting. So this man, to my point, was being paid handsomely well to do so very little, while also at the same time, whatever financial responsibilities he had, he was able to take care of those obligations and then some. So he was quite handsomely well taken care of. Okay? Now, this thing with Bill Goldberg and Roman Reigns. Oh, we're going to give you a retirement match and now, if he did in fact say, look, I'm not going to do this match unless you give me a retirement match, I mean, to each its own, but that sounds to me like some form of a hostage situation. Okay? I am holding this match that you want to do, right? You want me to work with this person. You want me to put this person over. Well, I'm letting you know that I'm not going to be interested in doing that unless you give me what I want, and what I want is a retirement match. Like, that makes like no freaking no. We're going through demands like that? Seriously, we're going through demands like that? Now, for the sake of the argument, okay, you want a retirement match, you want a nice send-off. Okay, you know what? That sounds a little bit more than fair. Okay, you know what? We can work with you on that. Sure, you want to have a proper send-off. We can do a little something. And look, if that meant Goldberg, Brock Lesnar one more time, or Goldberg, Bobby Lashley, yeah, sure, what the hell? Go for it, right? Go for it. Go ahead, right? But to the people that had interviewed Bill Goldberg, something that is just glaringly staring at me and is just heightening the ears of many people that took the time out to maybe listen to this interview. You're going, why didn't the people that host this show come right back and say to Bill Goldberg, no disrespect, but this match that you had with Roman Reigns went down February 2022. As you know, Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, and a whole bunch of other people were in the hot seat around April, May of that year for some sexual allegations and hush money and all this other stuff. It culminated, well, when was it? June or July of that same year, where Vince McMahon stepped down from his position and stepped away from the WWE. And so now you have this massive overhaul of a power structure at the very top, because Vince McMahon has basically, under pressure, taken his ball and rolled the hell out. And now you've got a new regime that's coming in, and they are, right, they're trying to pick up the pieces. And so I can understand, hey, this person gave me their word that I would have this retirement match. But if that person, right, gets in some type of trouble, and we're now bringing the law into it, that person, you know, for all intents and purposes, they can't exactly look out for you at that point, because they've got their hands full with some stuff. So I just found that to be so freaking comical, especially considering every little thing, every single thing that WWE did for Goldberg, the second rodeo back with the company. They went above and beyond, right? I mean, there's this thing that really gets to me. And it comes from the Goldberg documentary. I think it was the 24/7 Goldberg joint, because I know they've done like a couple of joints, but I think it's like the first one that came out. And Goldberg basically says, "Oh, I love Vince McMahon. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for him. You know, I love him almost like he's my father. You know, I love him so much. I would do anything for him." Right? And you're just going, oh man, Goldberg has really come. You remember me reviewing that damn DVD, and I'm like, hey, Goldberg's really matured. He's come full circle and all this other stuff. And you're like, wow, you know, you can really appreciate the man behind the character and how he's now on this quest to tell a new chapter of the Goldberg character, you know, not just for his son, but because his son wasn't even in the picture when Bill Goldberg was running around at his prime, right? At his peak back in the day, right? So this is a new Goldberg for a whole new generation and all this other stuff. And I mean, that just comes off so damn one-sided. It comes off so damn self-centered that I just can't help but say, Bill Goldberg, seriously, seriously, you, Bill Goldberg, like seriously, because like, no, this company they don't owe him any more, no less. They don't. And he, of all people, should know that when it comes to the WWE, things can and will change. You think Kurt Angle liked how he essentially went out in the WWE? He tried to get on Vince McMahon and the crew while he was still able to do a little something wrestling-wise. And I mean, the way things had just diminished for him physically so fast, like it wasn't even funny. This is as bad as when Ric Flair had did that interview. Was it earlier this year or was it last year? He did some interview where he's like, woo, yeah, Hunter doesn't talk to me anymore. Me and Hunter used to be real cool. Woo, Hunter don't talk to me no more. Hunter is a two-faced son of a bitch. And it's like, well, not for nothing, Ric Flair, but, you know, Triple H, you know, his health was on the line. The man was damn near close to dying, and they had to operate on his heart. Like, there's a reason why you didn't hear from him, during this stretch of time. Like, you're just hearing all of this, and you're going, man, to the people that's doing this interview with Ric Flair, are they gonna bring this up? Are they gonna say, hey, when Triple H had his health scare, did you reach out to him to let him know you were thinking about him? Like, no. They're not going to do that because they don't want to come off as if they're embarrassing their guests. They're scared that, I don't know, the guests may decide, who are you to question me? Who are you to, how dare you ask me that question? This interview's over. But they're scared. They're scared. That's why I couldn't do this. That's why I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. There are certain things that I see, and it's just, okay, I gotta ask this question. Like, I remember for the longest time, I'm not going to mention the promotion because I know a lot of their talents check out the shows I do from time to time, right? But you'll kind of be able to figure it all out. If you've been watching long enough, right, you've been following me on social media, you'll kind of get an idea who I'm talking about. I remember there was this one promotion that, I would cover. And from time to time, we had really great rapport. We were on their radar for the longest time. And from time to time, we'd get interviews and, knock them out of the park and everything. But then soon it became a case of, okay, so we got this person we want to put on you next. And, it was starting to become a case of, okay, now it's no longer a case where I'm interviewing those who I really, really like, that I feel a connection to as not just as a wrestling fan, but just from one human being to another. Now it's a case like this feels as though this is some kind of a job or whatever that I'm doing, right? And I mean, look, it's a good trade, right? Because I'm getting the talent and, right? I'm getting the talent. I'm doing the interview with the talent. It's great exposure for the both of us. It's great bragging rights for the both of us, but I don't want it to become a case where, and I've always said that when I began doing this show so many years ago, I don't want it being a case where, gee, I wonder who Lee's going to have on next. I want to be able to do what I do, knowing that people are tuning in because they appreciate a lot of what's coming from my heart. They appreciate a lot of, what's coming from my mind. Right? And, I remember, I would keep getting these interview opportunities and I would tell the truth. I would say, yeah, those days honestly don't work. I'm dealing with, with classes, so yeah, that just, it wouldn't work, maybe something in a couple of weeks or whatnot. And I just felt like I was continuing to get bombarded with, it was kind of like, okay, we hear you, but we don't hear you. That after a while, I just stopped responding, because it just felt like every time I was turning around, I was continuing to be bombarded with, and it's like, wait a minute, I don't remember being in a position where I had promised these people that I would always make myself available to interview their wrestlers and like that was never set in stone. So like, why should they take it personal when I don't make myself available to them? Right? Especially when, okay, you say you're going to honor the days and times when I say that I'm available, but you don't. And you just, any old, they got their feelings hurt. They had got their feelings hurt real quick. And it was like, no, I didn't promise a damn thing. Much like, Goldberg saying, hey, Vince McMahon promised me, I'm sure that Vince McMahon, when it's all said and done, I'm sure that Vince McMahon's heart was in the right place and that he really did mean to do well by Bill Goldberg. But guess what? Life comes at you fast. And the crap that was going down with Vince McMahon, much like what was going on with me and that other promotion, it was like, it got to a point where I felt as though everything else that I was trying to do in my life at that point was kind of taking a backseat so I could give this preferential treatment to, right? And that's what I need for Bill Goldberg to understand. Like, something might have been promised to you, but like, real life happens fast. And it's like, and if you can't comprehend and understand that, because see, what really would have been a good question then would have been from the people that were interviewing Bill Goldberg, have you tried talking to Triple H about a retirement match? Have you tried talking, right? Didn't even go in that direction, right? That's what I'm saying. I couldn't do these interviews because I know what I want to ask. And after a while, when you've interviewed like certain people, let me tell you something, that somebody that's like, the last thing you want to do is be in a position where you're interviewing a talent and they are attached to the agency that they work for, or they are somehow attached to the publicist for the company that's also listening in on the phone conversation or the interview that you're having, because it's happened to me before. There's like certain questions that I've asked and I've had them cut in, so, you can't ask that, it's like, have to do a second take, right? You gotta play it PR friendly. That's how you gotta do. You gotta play it PR super friendly. And I mean, that's great, if you're trying to just gain the experience, especially if, you're like me, you're trying to go into journalism and all of that, and you're understanding the different levels of conducting interviews and all of that, but, after a while, you just kind of go, okay, so, yeah, I'm done here. But he just comes off, just when you start to like Bill Goldberg, he just comes off as this big old douchebag. You just go, damn, like, seriously, dude? Seriously? I'm not defending Bill Goldberg here. I want to make sure that, hopefully, it's come off crystal. I'm not. I think this was just very dickish, what was going on here. I think that this was a huge fumble on the people that had interviewed him, because he left, right. The door was set up, right? They asked him the question. He took the bait. He created the room for them to have great follow-up questions, and yet they did not follow up, right? And now there's so much more stuff that's out there in the air, and it's like, what the hell, right? It's just all the way around. It just makes this guy look bad. And let me see if I got this straight. This is the same guy that some of you overzealous AEW fans want for Tony Khan to sign. If this guy is acting like this with Vince McMahon, I mean, what makes you think that, I mean, seriously, what makes you think that, all right, do I got to really finish that sentence? Yeah, I don't know about that, dog. I don't know about that. Other than that, that is pretty much, just making my last minute rounds here. Hang on. I don't think there's anything else. I think we're good for tonight. I didn't mean to be quiet there. Yeah, we're good. We're good. I'm just checking to see if there's any last minute breaking news that's going down. And it looks like we're good. I got an email, and if you guys want to send a question or a comment, thercwrshow@gmail.com. Make sure you put the THE in there. Somebody was asking, I think it was Del Diddy. Somebody was asking for the radio show link. Why are we still saying radio show link in 2023? You guys know that this is a podcast, right? And as I always tell you guys, and that's no that's not throwing shade. That's not throwing a jab or anything like that. Like, seriously, like, it's a podcast. Now, if you want to say live radio show, well, I guess then technically when we come on live, then it's a live radio show. It's a live webcast. But you know that part where I always say, check out the show on demand and on the downloads, wherever you get your podcast. Just search the RCWR show. You can do it that way. If you want to represent and you want to leave rating and reviews for the show on Apple or on Spotify, all you got to do is check out the links. I always, and if it's rare, sometimes you won't see the links in the YouTube video, but I always typically go back once the show is over and I add them in that way. If you're following the show through the Android app or you listen to the shows on Spreaker, I always include the links in there for you all to access. Hell, if you've got X, formerly known as Twitter, as soon as you go on my profile page, if you click on the LNK, looks like it says link fire basically. It's the last link that you'll see on my X profile. If you click on that, you'll see the iTunes Store link, Spotify link, Pandora, Stitcher, Amazon Music. You'll see all those links, but very easy to come across. Hey, let me give a shout out to some of our sponsors. We've been working with some new sponsors these past couple of weeks, and I appreciate working with these guys. It's honestly because of their kind contributions to the show. They are helping to make content like what you're checking out right now be accessible to everyone to check out and for free. Because I know these days, now more than ever, and it always breaks my heart when I see this, but I be seeing brand new podcasts, ain't even got 3 months under their belt, go right to the freaking Patreon paywall. Podcasts just go right to the paywall. And it's like, damn, how are these people supposed to know if the content is any good? If it's even worth investing in, right? I mean, that's just mind-blowing to me. But shout out to the good folks over at ShopTotallyT-shirt.com. Whether you have a sports team, company, or a charitable event and need custom t-shirts, hats, or hoodies, ShopTotallyT-shirt.com can help. They offer the best in high quality at great affordable prices with top-notch customer service. Shout out to the good folks at ShopTotallyT-shirt.com. Also want to give a shout out to one of our newest sponsors in DoBack.com. If you're looking for the perfect gift for him or her or for the kids, DoBack.com has you covered with unbeatable deals. Discounts up to 80% off, coupons up to 50% off, cashback offers up to 20% off, and more. All for shopping online with some major outlets. So check them out, DoBack.com. Also brought to you in part by Candy Kingdom VT. That's V as in Victor, T as in Tom. CandyKingdomVT.com. If you're ready to elevate your snacking game, look no further than Candy Kingdom, the ultimate destination for freeze-dried candy. At Candy Kingdom, they've mastered the art of freeze-drying to bring you a taste and sensation like never before. Their candies are crispy, crunchy, and bursting with flavor. Check them out today, CandyKingdomVT.com. So shout out to all of our sponsors. Shout out to you all, the listeners, especially for your continued support for this whole calendar year. We've had some fun moments here on the show. I'm looking forward to 2023, or 2024, I should say. We do have a pay-per-view that's coming up this Saturday, which I will be with you guys. We'll go over the card real quick. As last I saw, it was 10 matches. Hopefully, it did not grow between Dynamite and right now. But AEW Worlds End. You know, when I hear that, I'm just picturing the Dave Matthews Band song. When the world ends, you're coming with me. Collect your things. When the world ends, right? I love that song. That's one of my favorite songs from the Dave Matthews Band. Lyrically, one of the best. So, since Dynamite, we have ourselves now 11 matches. It's now at 11 matches. So right now I'm seeing a 20-man battle royale for a future AEW TNT Championship match. 20 participants. Orange Cassidy is the champion right now. You know who I wouldn't mind seeing right now? I wouldn't mind seeing Brody King go up against Orange Cassidy. Of all the people that I just was looking at from the Continental Classic tournament and going, wow, I didn't know this guy really had it in him like that. Brody King really stood out. I wouldn't mind seeing him get a crack at Orange Cassidy. Meanwhile, Hook defends the FTW Championship in a FTW Rules match against Wheeler Yuta. I honestly don't care. This has hardly been built up. That's why I don't really care about this one. I'm just going to pick at random. I'll go with Hook. Eddie Kingston takes on Jon Moxley. Championship final for the AEW Continental Classic for the inaugural Triple Crown Championship, the ROH World Championship, New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Openweight Championship, and the inaugural AEW Continental Championship. Somebody just banged their head up against the chair. It's my little buddy Holly. She's okay though. Eddie Kingston, Moxley. I gotta go with Moxley. I gotta go with Moxley to win it all. I mean, look, I've appreciated the Cinderella Man story that Tony Khan and them have been trying to tell with Eddie Kingston as of late, but I think what would really be a better selling point, a better drawing point, not just for ROH programming, but definitely for New Japan, even for the inaugural AEW Continental Championship, I think Moxley would be better. See, my gut is saying Eddie Kingston is going to win, but my brain is saying Jon Moxley. So I'm listening to my brain right now. I'm gonna go with Jon Moxley. Julia Hart takes on Abaddon singles match for the AEW TBS Championship. And now my kid is gone. Hey, little buddy. Come here. Come here. She came in here. I think she was hoping I was almost done with the show. There we go. Look how big she's gotten. Oh, she's being shy. She's being shy. She's being shy as she wants to. Oh, go ahead. Here you go. You want some? Hi. You are a sweetheart. You are a sweetheart. Yes. Hi. 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 We're almost done, okay? Then we'll go hang out and watch a little TV. I promise. I promise. Yes, I promise. Let's see. Where are we here? Julia Hart versus Abaddon, right? This is going to be their first encounter. First encounter for the title. I'm going to go with Julia Hart. This should be, of all the matches for this card, this is what I'm actually looking forward to the most. I'm a fan of Abaddon's. Been checking a little bit of her workout before she came to AEW and everything. So, and I've been ecstatic that she's been getting more television time and everything. So, yeah, I'm going to say Julia Hart for the retain. Meanwhile, Timeless Toni Storm defends the AEW Women's World title against Rio. Timeless Toni Storm continues to be on a freaking roll. I see no reason why I need to pick against her right now. I'm going to go with Toni Storm for the retain. 8-man tag team match. Ricky Starks, Big Bill, Takesha, Powerhouse Hobbs take on the Sex Gods, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Sting, and Darby Allin. Soon as I see Sting involved, hey, you already know where I'm going. Sting wins. Right? Sting wins. Yeah, I'm going with Sting. Team Sting. Keep that man undefeated until you go all the way to his last match at Revolution. Christian Cage defends the AEW TNT Championship against Adam Copeland. There could be a numbers game here, but you would like to believe that Adam Copeland this go round has come prepared. I think he's going to have a couple of aces up his sleeve. I wonder what is currently going on with Beth Phoenix and if she is a free agent at this point, because, man, that would be a nice little assist there. Also, Gangrel. I've been waiting to see Tony Khan try to do something with Gangrel, because, I mean, that would really take things up another level and everything. Don't be shocked if maybe Gangrel makes an appearance here as well. But I'm going to go with Christian Cage has been doing some of his best work. It says he's been with AEW. Do you give fans that good feel moment and pull the trigger on Adam Copeland? Cage retains. Swerve Strickland taking on Keith Lee, singles match. I'm going with Swerve. Miro taking on Andrade El Idolo, singles match. I am going to go with... Let's switch it up. I'm going to go with Andrade. Blackpool Combat Club. Claudio Castagnoli, Bryan Danielson, Mark Briscoe, and Daniel Garcia taking on Brody King, Jay White, Jay Lethal, and Roosh. 8-man tag team match. That should be badass. I'll go with the Blackpool Combat Club. Just cuz. MJF, Samoa Joe for the World Heavyweight Championship. MJF retains. You got to reveal the devil. As far as who the devil will be, I'm going to go with Adam Cole, baby. I'm going to go with Adam Cole. Let's see. I'm just looking at this card one more time. You know, it's a pretty good card. They don't need to add anything else. If they can just keep it where it is right now, this is actually good. So, I like where they're going here. So, one more time. 8-man tag match. Blackpool Combat Club for the win. MJF retains. I've got the devil being revealed to be Adam Cole. Andrade over Miro. Swerve over Keith Lee. Christian Cage over Adam Copeland. Team Sting picking up the win in their 8-man tag match. Timeless Tony Storm for the retain. Julia Hart for the retain. Jon Moxley, your new Triple Crown champion. Hook retains over Yuta. 20-man Battle Royal. See, I said Brody King earlier, but Brody King is going to be involved in that. Well, maybe they can have a person double dip, right? You never know. But if Brody King's not in there, I'm just trying to think who else. I don't know. Do you maybe put Wardlow in there? But then right now, Wardlow is so fixated on MJF, right? Which, by the way, if I was doing this right, after, MJF picks up the win over Samoa Joe, like he barely escapes, we've heard Wardlow talk about how he's got all this pent-up frustration, this great anger, and pain that he wants to inflict on MJF. Well, what if he does that after this match is over with Joe and just really, right? And then the devil appears. And then it turns out to be Adam Cole, baby. I mean, there's a nice couple of ways that this can all go down, but you got to end this on a strong note. You got to reveal who the devil is. You got to end it on such a good high note. You got to create that buzz and everything going into that New Year's week of programming for AEW. So we'll see what happens, but I'm definitely going to be with you guys as soon as it goes off the air. We'll do a special pay-per-view post-show. So we'll be live and everything. So until then, I'm wishing for all of you all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Get at your man on the Facebook, Instagram, X. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. Take care, y'all. Peace.